you're new to the channel, I'm all about teaching you everything you need to know about Hawaii and its real estate, but you just can't find in the listing. And in this video, I'd like to talk a little bit about the best way to sell your home in Hawaii, and also the best way to purchase a home in Hawaii if for some reason you don't have the money to buy an entire home. What do I mean by that? Well, the quandary of second home ownership in a vacation sort of resort environment is that you bear 100% of the cost, but then statistics show us that second homeowners only use those homes 8% of the year. Why is that? Well, because there's really no other option until now. Until now, what has changed? Well, we have a new model that we have actually joint ventured with exclusively here in the state of Hawaii. The model's actually been around since 2013, but it's now really gaining some serious momentum, I believe, because renting out your luxury second home is no longer legal unless you go through an extensive licensing process, and those licenses are now very limited, and there's fairly strict enforcement if you break the law. So it's very difficult to sort of overcome the cost of second home ownership. It's not very a viable alternative anymore. So when it comes time to sell your second home, a lot of times you don't want to sell it. Maybe one party does, or one spouse does, the other one doesn't. But ultimately, this model actually enables you to maintain a percentage ownership in that home and utilize it probably about the same amount of time that you were utilizing it when you had 100% ownership. So ultimately, the quandary of second home ownership has been solved. And so when it's time to sell your second home in Hawaii, I'd like you to please consider not just marketing it to a single owner at 100% equity, but also market it to shared ownership. And the way shared ownership works is very simple. So let's say hypothetically you have a $10 million second home. What we would do is we would offer that for $1 million for a 10% interest to 10 owners. And then those 10 owners can utilize the property throughout the year. We have a very sophisticated reservation system, full concierge services, and they also share the cost of that ownership 100%. And then the final piece is that we literally have an exit strategy in place already, which means we will sell the property in 8 years and then share the proceeds amongst the owners of the LLC. So what the biggest benefit to a seller is now they have the option to see the full demand of the marketplace, not just from a single buyer, but also from shared owners. And then they have the option to purchase one of those shares and continue to use the property themselves if they want to. And then from a buyer's perspective, you can now come in and purchase a property at a price point that you can afford, yet you get to enjoy a $10 million property versus a $2 million property, and you're only going to utilize it for the period of time that is commensurate with your ownership. But ultimately, that's about as much time as people are even spending when they own the entire property, if that makes sense. So it really solves the problem of second home ownership in the state of Hawaii. And if you're looking to sell, I can almost guarantee you this will get you the highest price possible. And if you're looking to buy, well, this is a great way to get into the market where you have 100% ownership. All of the partners have 100% ownership in the property, and ultimately there's no debt, and there is an exit strategy getting out, and a very sophisticated reservation and concierge service that takes care of all of the details of ownership 100% hassle-free, and is managed by the company that puts this whole thing together. So anyway, obviously you can tell I'm pretty excited about it because it just makes a ton of sense. So if you're interested, feel free to hit me in the comments section, or you can certainly give me a call at 808-298-2030. I'd love to share more information with you and hopefully put together a program that makes sense whether you're looking to buy or sell a property here in the state of Hawaii. Aloha. Our West Maui Mountains, boy, you can't beat that view, huh? And the sun's going down over Lanai here shortly. Hey, I'd like to read you a quote from a satisfied seller that recently participated in this program. And I quote directly: "I'm a seller of my own property here on Maui and have chosen to retain a percentage of ownership through this ownership model. They have provided the perfect solution to my problem, significantly reducing my cost of ownership while continuing to enjoy my property with my family. They have a proven shared ownership model that has been successfully implemented and followed for the last 5 years. And I encourage anyone looking to buy a second home in Maui to first consider their partnership opportunities. And so I think it just goes without saying that in this day and age with things like, Uber and Lyft, and I mean, this is obviously not a ride-sharing app, but in this concept of being able to share and do it in a way that makes sense, and having the technology in terms of the reservation and the concierge. And we even have an opportunity that if for some reason you didn't want to use your time in this particular home on Maui, maybe you want to spend 2 weeks next year in one of our luxury homes in Steamboat Springs. So there are options to actually use other properties, but ultimately your ownership interest is in the property that you purchase with your other partners. And so anyway, if you'd like more information about this, hit me in the comments. You can call me 808-298-2030 or email me hawaiisbest1@gmail.com. Aloha. So here's some of the details of the luxury second home partnership model. First of all, a limited liability company is created to buy the property. And then a very limited number of investors are admitted into the LLC. The investors' capital contributions are 100% secured by the property, which is paid for free and clear, fee simple. Ownership, costs, and usage are completely shared, and the investors have voting and shareholder control of the property. Absolutely zero hassle-free ownership with 5-star personal travel and concierge services. It's a very highly flexible, fair, and simple reservation system. And there is a defined exit strategy, which is in 8 years, with no resale hassles whatsoever, all capital contributions are returned in full, and the sharing of the property appreciation goes back to each owner. So the idea is that the exit strategy is defined ahead of time. Now there are options if the owners want to continue to stay on. They are given first right of refusal. They can consolidate. Maybe it goes from 8 owners to 2 owners, or from 8 owners to 1 owner. So there are options, but ultimately that property will sell after 8 years. And why 8 years? That's what we've discovered is about the period of time when the average second homeowner in Hawaii decides, what? It's time to sell the second home. So it only makes sense that that's baked into the model, and you have an absolute guarantee of getting your money back. Unlike timeshares or fractionals, where a lot of times you cannot sell them on the secondary market. And if you do, you lose big time. Here, this is an investment that more than likely will appreciate with time.